Hello my angels, welcome back to another video. My name is Ro and today we're doing TBRPG for January. Now today should be, fingers crossed, Christmas Day and you are seeing us and it's going to be a one-shot adventure just like the Halloween episode and it's going to be Christmassy, it's going to be wintry, it's going to be fab. So the new campaign will start in February's TBR, so we're just doing a cute little one shot today that's gonna just finish off the end of the year. I don't have anything Christmassy to wear or have in the background because I'm poor, so apologies for that. Merry Christmas! It's blank. Talking about what I did in December, I am actually recording this fairly early in December, so I'm quite early into my TBR, so can't really comment on how much I've read. I have read the Nevermore series so far, and I've nearly finished Iron Widow. You will get all that in my December wrap-up anyway, so that's all good. This month we do have a month-long readathon, and that is Be Sureathon, run by Sasha over at the Wild Sasha. I am a guest host. This is a readathon based on the Wayward Children series. If you haven't heard of it, not sure why you're here, because it's my favourite series ever. As well as that, we're having a week-long readathon, which is my own readathon, called TBRPGathon. And it'll be a week-long where I drop choices at midnight and you get to pick a book every day. Or you can pick the same book for all the prompts if you can. If anyone does that, let me know. All of that stuff will be in the description, including the announcement video, blah, blah, blah. Everything is down there. And if you haven't noticed, we do have a very, very special guest today. And it is Jade!
That's me!
From JD Reads, if you didn't know. If you don't know, again, not sure what you're doing here, but Jade is our lovely guest today, and we are doing, like I said, a polar fantasy-esque one-shot, so who better to be in as a guest than Jade? So
I should have put my crown on. I could have been your polar queen.
I'll put one in on editing. I'll pop a crown on.
Perfect.
Editing.
there you go. We'll do all that in post, don't worry. Well, that is it from me for the beginning, so I will pass you over to George, the TBR Master.
Cool. For those of you who don't know, TBRPG is a choose-your-own-adventure / Dungeons & Dragons style TBR game. I've written a story that has key choice moments in it that Rowan and Jade will have to pick, and those choices determine the outcome of the story and also the prompts that Rowan has for her TBR next month. And I suppose if we're ready, we'll get going.
Woohoo!
Okay, so you live in a village called Glaciel, and Glaciel has a yearly tradition that every year the magic of Glaciel's Heart, which is the largest tree in the centre of the village, brings on the first divine snowfall of winter. And that snowfall heralds in the 12-day countdown to what you call the Festival of Joy.
Aww.
The town of Glaciel is quite modest. There's modest little wooden huts around the area. Nothing too extravagant. And you have walls built from sort of quite thick spruce tree trunks as well. You know of 3 other villages nearby. But every village pretty much keeps to themselves. Nobody really goes out of each other's village and you don't know anybody from any of these other villages. So you both are sisters who have been called to speak to the village chief, who also happens to be your mother.
Oh.
Less scary if she's mum.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, if she's the mum, yeah.
So she calls you into her office and basically says, her office, yeah. And she says, generations ago, my ancestors brought the magic to Glaciel's Heart through peace offerings from the other villages. Sadly, that magic was never a sort of permanent thing, and they have now, over the years, diminished. So in order for us to get the Divine Snowfall to kick off the festival, we need new peace offerings from all of the villages. I need you both to visit these 3 other villages and receive peace offerings from them and bring them back to bring in the Divine Snowfall so we can carry on the tradition of the Festival of Joy.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we've got to go and offer sacrificial gifts to a magic tree. Sweet.
Well, it's a Christmas, so maybe not sacrificial.
Christmas joy!
Glaciel is the village in the south, and you know the 3 other villages are in the other 3 cardinal directions, so north, east, and west. The northern village is called Ursarkt, home to the Ursarctic. polar bears. So the eastern village is called Frosthoof, home to the snow deers, reindeers. And the western village is called Shiverslide, home to the penguins.
Aww.
Penguins.
That's so cute.
That's
So
adorable. I want to live there.
This is choice number 1.
Ooh.
You can decide between each other. Would you rather go to the northern village, to Ursarkt, to the eastern village, Frosthoof, or the western village, Shiverslide? And this is just the first village that you visit. You will be visiting all of them at some point, but it's where you want to decide to go first.
So polar bears, reindeer, or penguins?
I'm thinking we should go for either the deer or the penguin so we can do like an arch and then come back.
That's true. That'll be quicker.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go penguins.
Let's go penguins. I'm happy
Wanna
with
go
that. Like,
penguins?
all 3 of these options sound great to me. So,
Yeah,
like,
same. It's not a hard... Well, it's a hard choice in that they all sound good.
yeah.
Okay, so you're going to go to the western village of Shiverslide.
Yeah.
So your mother gives you each a sort of packed bag and says everything you need will be in this bag if you need it.
Cucumber sandwiches.
Yeah, you got your sandwiches packed in there, a couple of snacks, all that stuff. She says if you tell the people there that you are there for the Festival of Joy, for the peace offering, they should understand what you're saying and understand what you mean. And she sends you off on your way. So the first prompt for this choice for you, Ro, is simply hardback.
Oh, lovely. Every single one of the ones I have here is a hardback. I'm going to pick Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. This is the new book by Margaret Rogerson, and this is the lovely Fairy edition, which is just like a naked hardback, which I think is very pretty. Literally all I know about this is that she may be an assassin. There's no synopsis on this naked hardback, so yeah, I ordered this so long ago that I don't remember the synopsis. I think it's definitely a fantasy. It's a YA fantasy. It's going to be a duology. I've read both of her first books and I really like the worlds. The writing and the plot isn't necessarily like the best in the world, but it's like a really fun world to be in most of the time. So I'm really hoping it's good. Although the edges are a bit like piss yellow, to be honest. They are glittery. They're meant to be like glittery gold, but from far away they look really
Piss
weird.
yellow.
They are a piss yellow, but you know we move. It's pretty on the front, so that's what we bought it for. So yeah, first choice Vespertine, and it's quite short compared to the other ones that I've got down for a possible TBR.
So both of you make your way west towards Shiverslide. Obviously it's wintry conditions, so there's quite a lot of snow, but you are used to it, being in a village of snow yourself. In the distance, as you're approaching, you can see quite a sort of a large structure and what looks like sort of objects flying to and from the structure and just poking up and down and stuff like that, and you can't quite make out what it is. The structure seems like slightly translucent, but again, you can't really make it out from where you are, so...
Is it an igloo?
It's not.
Oh.
I'm imagining some sort of like icy castle thing with penguins, but then you
Yeah.
said they're flying, and that's thrown me off.
I do know penguins can't fly, don't worry. I haven't just gone, oh no. So as you get closer, you can see that this large structure is actually the walls surrounding the village, but they're not so much walls as it is more of a track.
Oh, like
ice.
toboggan.
Oh, bobsled.
Yeah.
Yeah. The track essentially circles and encompasses the entire village, almost as if the track was there first and the village has kind of sprouted up around it. You enter under one of these sort of arches of the track and go in, and you're surrounded by large sort of structures of ice that have been worn down over countless years to create like small little tracks, half pipes, that you can see these penguins are going up and down, they're doing tricks, they're sliding
It's a
around.
skate park.
It's
Pretty
yeah,
much.
it's a
All-
skate park for penguins.
all of the penguins, they have a thin layer of ice on their stomachs, on their bellies, and that helps them slide around quicker. Okay, so at the center of the town, as you're walking further in, you can see a group of penguins are in a smaller group having a chat, and one of them notices you both coming in, so he walks over and he greets you. He goes, bros, I'm Olelo. Sick of Slider and Shiverslide. I can tell you're here for another peace offering, and to be honest, I'll give it to you, but on one condition. I want to either have a trick off with you or a race to see if you're worthy of another peace offering. If I think you're worthy, then I'll give it to you. So, this is choice number 2. You can either decide to, what he said, do a trick off with him, or decide to race him. But you'll both be participating.
Okay.
I feel like as sisters, we probably have some sort of like sisterly bond.
Yeah, I feel like as sisters, you know, we got an understanding, we got a bond. I feel like the tricks
Would work, whereas with the race, I feel like so much of it will just be up to like gravity.
Yeah.
Whereas with the tricks, we can play off each other. And I think realistically, if we're human against essentially penguins, that's just obviously gonna go one way.
Yeah. We will definitely lose a race. So tricks. I want to do tricks.
Okay.
Got this.
So you're doing a trick off.
Yes, a trick off.
Olelo leads you both over to the biggest half pipe that they have in the village and hands you both this sort of tree bark that has been meticulously carved to sort of imitate the like ice stomachs that they have, so you have kind of boards that slide across the ice with ease. He goes, I'll go first. Don't worry, I'll show you how it's done. So the prompt for this choice that you have, the second prompt is a sequel.
Don't have any of those picked out. Okay, for this I am picking Jade Legacy. This is a thick motherfucker. This is the beautiful Illumicrate edition. You can see, if I do it correctly, you can see the foil properly. This is the 3rd book to the Greenbone saga. It is incredible. I've listened to the first 2 on audiobook, and I think I am going to listen to the 3rd one as well, because I did pre-order it on Audible. I just haven't been able to get around to it yet, because I've had so much to do. I mean, it only came out on like the 2nd of December, so definitely one I'm going to be getting to in January, because I don't want to forget Jade War, because I only read that in like, I want to say October, November. Oh no, it wasn't November. I read like 2 books in November and that was not one of them. It might have been September or October then. I'm really excited for this. Jade City is about, it's kind of like 1920s Shanghai era, but it's in fantasy worlds on a fantasy island called Keikon, and Jade, which is literally the, what is it called? Gem? The gem of Jade, gives the Kekanese quite cool powers. It's more like an enhanced being of self rather than any particular powers. Like, they don't really like breathe fire or laser eyes or anything, but they can hit harder and they can knock you out. Basically, it's a lot of politics, a lot of like smuggling of jade, smuggling of drugs, stuff like that, and it's really good, and all the characters are really good, and I'm really excited to get to this 3rd one.
He steps up to the half pipe and he does 5 sort of, ones. I can't think of the proper word for it. 5 goes on the half pipe, I suppose. While he's up in the air doing all sorts of tricks, flipping, front flips, twists, on all of that stuff. The crowd that have gathered are ooh, ah, ooh, while he's doing it. And he lands after his 5th bang in the centre of the half pipe with like a proper flare, and the crowd cheering and clapping, and they find it amazing. So he obviously walks over to you, and he doesn't have any sort of arrogance to him. He's like quite encouraging. He's like, okay, there you go, bros, your go, and sets you up. So what I'm going to need you to do now is both please roll a performance check for me and tell me what you both had, and I'll add them up, and if it beats the
18.
You need to roll abysmally to fail this. So try not to.
1.
Alright, well the check was 19. So...
Wait, so we passed?
Yeah, you
Oh my
did
god,
pass.
we passed the check!
No thanks to you.
It was that sisterly magic
It's
that
the
got
bond.
us
The
through.
bond
It's
is
the
so
bond.
close.
Both of you start on opposite ends of the half pipe. Jade goes and she is again doing some crazy tricks. She's really impressed them. All the pen guys sort of clapping, cheering her on. You, on the other hand, Ro, you're kind of just sliding, slowly losing momentum, just like...
I'm just gonna high five her as I go past.
Yeah, exactly. You're more of like the hype man to Jade doing all of these tricks. So you finish your routine, and again, all the crowd are cheering you on, and you high-fiving everybody running around, and it's all great. Olelo takes you back to the centre where you met him. He goes for a second, and you see him come back, and in his hands, from what you can only assume is just like pure light in his hands, essentially. He says, "Bros, I'm impressed by the skills that you showed me today. So with that, I'm gonna offer you this unwavering light. This is a piece of a star that fell to the earth that still lights up today. And this is our peace offering, but on one condition. We'd like to attend the festival. We'd like to put on some games, some tricks, some shows for the people, and we'd show them that we could be a village united again."
Cool.
I was about to get mad.
I know,
Like,
I was like,
we've already
wait.
had one condition. We did that.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, sure.
Mother will be so proud.
Yes, she'll sort it out. She'll get the vol au vents out. It's all good.
That's great. He hands you the light. You take it, put it in one of your bags. You are sort of walking out of the village with a standing ovation from all of the Penguins around. All, whoops and cheers, and roses are being thrown at you.
Thank you.
So you are at the entrance of Shiverslide again. Now, the third choice, which village do you want to go to next? You can either go to the north, Ursacht, with the polar bears, or you can go east to Frosthoof with the snow deers, the reindeers.
I mean, we got the tactics. We're gonna be going to the polar bears.
Polar bears next.
Gonna be going north. Okay.
Least amount of travel time,
Whilst we're on our journey, I'm going to give my sister a pep talk that is like, seriously, if we have to do something else, you need to pull your weight a little bit more next time, okay?
I know. I think I was just sliding around. I don't really. My brain was just not in it. I was not mentally there.
It's okay, I appreciate you for your support alone, but we just step up the game a little bit. Hopefully the polar bears don't require near as much, physical activity.
Yeah, the physical, yeah.
Okay, so you set off from Shiverslide, heading north to the next village of Ursacht. The prompt for this third choice is a new author. An author you have not read before.
Literally all of these are... Well, actually, except for the last one. I'm going to go for Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is the Goldsboro edition. I have not actually read the Malice series, which is The Faithful and the Fallen, yet. They are quite thick boys, and this is a little bit shorter. But this is also about gods, and anything about gods I just love. So it says, "A century has passed since gods fought and drove themselves to extinction. A century has passed since the gods fought and drove themselves to extinction. Now only their bones remain, and they promise great power to anyone who seeks them out, like the bones do." So there's going to be war across the land of Vigrid. It looks like a Viking word. Fate follows in the footsteps of 3 warriors, a huntress, a noble woman, and a thrall. But it's Norse inspired, and obviously there's dragons. The sequel cover has a wolf instead, and it's looking straight at you, and it looks really fucking cool. So I really want to try it out and try out his writing, because it's epic fantasy, adult fantasy. And I don't know why, I feel more comfortable starting with this than Malice, even though Malice is finished. It's a finished series. I will get to it because I bought it from the Broken Binding. This one is the first in the Bloodsworn saga, trilogy, I don't know. I have a very good feeling about it, so.
As you are heading north, in the distance again, you can see very similar to Glacial in terms of walls and structures around the place. And as you get closer, the gates open and 2 polar bears greet you, and they're wearing quite a lot of multicolored fabrics around their ankles and their necks. They come out and they ask, "What brings you to Ursacht, humans?"
Hello! We're here to get, an offering for the Festival of Joy.
Please?
So they kind of look at each other and they understand and usher you forward. So they're taking you through the village. It's quite a naturally forming village. All the houses, they are basically igloos, but they're more kind of pods that have kind of grown on top of each other, where these polar bears live. And the largest igloo that is there, they stop in front of and sort of usher you to go in. Inside the largest igloo is a ice throne and behind that is a large holly tree. So you walk through and stop as the last guards stop, and the guards that took you through the village and in said, "Don't move, stay here. We will go and fetch the Polar King."
Okay.
They disappear and you're kind of just standing there, you're not doing anything, standing still as been told. When out of one of the side doors, a few polar bears come out, but they're a lot smaller. Basically, you can tell they're kids. And they all sort of amble their way up to the throne, when one of the smallest one, with these large sort of icicle glasses, she trips and falls, and her glasses go sliding across. And she is on the ground, she's looking for them, she starts like sniffling, she can't find her glasses. And nobody is moving, none of the guards are moving to help her, none of her presumably siblings are moving to help her. So this is choice number 4. You can either do as you were told, do not move, don't make a sound, or you can decide to screw that and help the little polar bear babby find her glasses.
Is this some kind of test? I'm so like...
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking.
I'm scared.
I feel like our sisterly compassion here would be like, look, we always had each other to help us. Why are her siblings not helping her? I feel like our compassion as a family would drive us towards helping her, but I am also terrified.
I would like to help. I'm just like looking at her like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna help her, I can't not, like, bless her, she's crying.
Alright, so
What do you want me to do?
you're gonna help her, yeah?
Yeah!
Yeah.
I'm going to need you both to roll an investigation check for me then, please.
That's an 8.
As a 16.
Very good, okay.
I've lost my own glasses.
In this, she's still on the ground looking. Both of you you look at each other, you look around, nobody's moving, and you just kind of go, screw this. So you go up onto this sort of raised platform where the throne is, where she's looking around, start looking around as well, and you, Jade, with your better roll once again, actually find them.
Got him!
You sort of carefully place them back. Even though she's a child, she's still about half the size of you as a polar bear, so you exactly place them back on and you wipe the tears that have fallen down her fur, and you sort of run back to where you were standing. So the prompt for this 4th choice for you, Ro, is a highly anticipated...
Gosh, you've been so nice to me with these prompts.
Well, it's Christmas, isn't it? So...
I am going to pick Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. Yeah, the other one's Margaret Rogerson. There's so many Margarets going on. This is the Illumicrate version, which has the naked hardcover is incredible. And it's got like quite nice sprayed edges. But this is like a retelling of the Goose Girl, which I only found out recently because one of my patrons told me. And there's a lot of like previous stuff that happens before the book starts that's in the synopsis. It's like that this girl is the adopted goddaughter of Death and Fortune. A year ago, her mother's, the god Death and Fortune, demanded payment for their care. And then she decided to steal her future back by stealing some other woman's life. And then she transformed into the version of this woman. This is all apparently happened before the book started. So it sounds like a lot's gone on. But basically, she leads a lonely but lucrative double life as a princess and a jewel thief. And that's what kind of makes me really want to read it. I really like kind of heist type stuff and like double life type stuff. So this sounds like a lot, and I'm very excited. It sounds pretty good. I've heard that the romance is pretty good from Katie, from Brightness Katie Reads. Really liked the couple in here. So yeah, I just think the aesthetic's really nice of the cover, and I just have a feeling it's going to be really good.
The guards come back out and they announce the Polar King Ursa. And out comes a much larger polar bear from any of the ones that you've seen. He is slowly walking towards the throne. He has a very regal air about him. As he is passing all of the smaller polar bears, he gives them all a bit of a sort of an affectionate nudge and a particularly affectionate sort of nuzzle up to the smallest one with the big glasses.
Aww.
We did good.
He places himself in the chair, turns to look at both of you, and says, I understand you are here for the peace offering. Well, it has been a very long time since we have given you the last peace offering, and possibly even a longer time since we were last invited to the festival. So please tell me, why should I participate in giving you a peace offering now?
Because this year it seems we're throwing a big old party and we're gonna, I think, end up uniting all 4 corners of the lands.
It's a big to-do. We didn't really control like the other ones, but we've now been invited to take part in this big one, and now we want to invite everyone from all of the villages.
As you're saying all of this, he doesn't seem convinced, but as he's contemplating, the daughter, the smallest one with the glasses, she runs up and jumps onto his lap, and she sort of whispers something into his ear, and his face kind of changes. He says, well, it seems my daughter has made an executive decision on my behalf. So he gets up from his chair, turns towards the holly tree, and he bites off a branch of the holly tree. As he does that, you can see very faint sort of like sparkles and crackles come from like where he snaps off the branch, and he walks down to exactly where you were and sort of hands you the holly branch.
Thank you.
He says, if this invite is true, then you will definitely see us at the festival. As
Sick.
he says that, you can see like the kids in the back, they're all kind of like, oh yeah, and they're all really excited to go and see the festival.
Yeah.
This story is just the story of the power of daughters.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, literally, I didn't
Truly.
mean it. So he escorts you out and you leave the village. Now, there is only one place left to go, so there's not really much of a choice. The next place to head is Frosthoof. Finally, you can see the sun is setting a little bit. There's a little bit of a orange glow to the sky. It's a mixture of orange and blue. And you
We
can head
didn't
back to
stop
base
for
camp.
lunch. Are you hungry?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I want my cucumber sandwich.
Yeah, you can have a little break if you want. Have a
Have a
little,
little lunch
pit
break.
stop.
Yum, 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 yum.
You head closer to where you believe Frosthoof is, and you again make out some walls to the village, but they're a lot different than any of the walls that you've seen before. You notice very sort of twisted branches of wood. They have a lot of gaps in them, so they're not very defensive walls, they're more decorative. And on a lot of them are wind chimes that are blowing in the air that are making a really nice sort of quiet melody as you're getting closer. So you get to where you presume sort of the gates are, but there are no real gates, it's just sort of the biggest gap in the walls. And nobody is there to welcome you or stop you from coming in, so you carefully wander in, having a little
Hello.
look around.
Hello.
In the distance, you can hear music. So that's kind of where you lead yourselves towards, you follow the music. And as you go deeper into the village, you find in the center, around a large fire, a bunch of the snow deers sitting around, all sort of jamming, essentially, is the word I can think of. They've all got musical instruments, they're all playing music. The largest snow deer with the biggest antlers notices you come in and stands to greet you. And she says, I am Dulier, and I know why you're here. We feel the absence of the last peace offering that we gave your village centuries ago, and understand that you're here for a new one. But before I give you any sort of peace offering, first you must prove yourself worthy. And she sort of gestures her head to where she was sitting, to musical instruments. There's a flute that have been made out of shed antlers, and also a xylophone that have been made out of shed antlers. So this is the 5th choice. Which instrument you would decide to go for? Obviously, Ro, you can go for the flute, and Jay can go for the xylophone, or you can swap it around.
I have actually played like a lot of musical instruments. I feel like the flute would not be too bad. How are you with musical instruments?
I used to play the trumpet. I've never been good at flute, ever.
I'll go for the flute then. I'll go for the flute.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go for the xylophone. This is where you start pulling your weight, right?
Yeah, I've got to now, haven't I?
Well, hopefully, because I'm going to need you both to roll a performance check for me, please. What is that?
No.
Oh, is that another 1?
I got a 6 that time.
It's a 7 total.
How have I rolled 2 1s in this session?
You both sit where your respective instruments are. Dulier kind of gestures for the rest of the snow deers to begin. They're all playing quite a sort of harmonious. There's no real, place for you to join in, but it's all kind of flowing very naturally. People are just playing music that are adding to it. Nothing is out of place.
I'm just gonna play it real quiet.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might just
Like
ding.
hover. Yeah. Even though it's kind of a cacophony of sound that is all aiding each other, you can't help but feel every time that you join in, a few looks come to you, and a few snow deers kind of they twitch, their ears twitch because they hear like the off beat, the off sound. So this is the prompt for the 5th choice, and it is Jade picks for you.
Oh no.
Oh. I could do Night Shadow.
Oh my god, my favourite book of all time ever. Why? Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Night Shadow by Sebastian Castell. I have not got any physical versions of these because I have read the first one on audio and I've collected the others on audio through the sales. They've had 2-for-1 sales on and things. So I do have the whole series and I need to continue it. I want to continue it. I do just need a recap from Jade because I've looked it up on the internet. There's no recaps, so that'll be happening in January, yeah?
So the song goes on for a while and then it stops and it's kind of a bit silent, kind of just sitting there.
Oh, that was so much fun! Oh my gosh, thought that was brilliant.
As you stand up, you hear kind of like a jingle in one of your backpacks, and all of the sort of snow deers kind of look to you in confusion. You open your bag and you have a look inside and you can see there's like a note from your mum that says to help with the snow deers. So you pull it out and it's like this meticulous made wind chime. Dulia kind of looks at it and she's like, oh, and it's kind of like a realization hits her as she sees that wind chime. So
an offering for you.
She takes it and she thanks you, and she walks over to this empty spot of snow and she places her antlers with the snow on top, and the antlers begin to glow and swirls of snow start swirling around, and then it dissipates, and she hooks her antler into the snow and brings out this harp. It's quite a small harp in relation to you. It's almost like a handheld one, and she brings it over to you and she says, your gift is the same as your ancestors. Please accept this offering, and if it's okay, we would very much like to participate in this year and years to come to provide music for the festival.
We would love that.
We would adore that, as long as we don't ruin it.
We'll stay out of the music.
In the years to come, perhaps we could teach you how to play the instruments.
Deal.
That's very kind of you.
So again, like the others, you grab the harp and you place it in your bag. The snow deers escort you out of Frosthoof.
Bye.
Farewell.
Thank you.
So now there's nothing left to do. You've got all of the peace offerings, so it's now time to return to Glacial. As you're heading back to Glacial, the sun is setting and there's a very bright orange colour in the sky. You get back to Glacial and you walk up to Glacial's heart, and your mother is there waiting for you.
Hey, Mom.
And you hand her the 3 peace offerings that you have received. So she hugs you both and she says that she never doubted you. She knew that you would get the job done. She places the holly branch on the tree, and the holly branch, it almost comes alive and it starts sprouting and it circles around the tree and goes all the way up to the top and sprouts these red and green bauble-like fruit from the branch.
How cute.
The orb of light, the star fragment that you got from Shiver's Light, the unwavering light, starts to hover and it floats right to the top of the tree and pings and glows at the top of the tree.
It's a Christmas tree.
And the harp that you received from Frosthoof places at the trunk of the tree, and without anybody touching it, starts playing music by itself. Plays a very nice festival of joy chime. So with the peace offerings rejuvenated, you feel a chill at your forehead for a second, and as you look around, you can see iridescent snow begin to fall. It's catching the orange glow of the sunset and reflecting all different manners of rainbows and lights all across Glacial.
And I catch it on my tongue.
Okay, so fast forward 12 days, the 12-day countdown to the Festival of Joy, and the festival is at full swing. The Ursacht, the Snow Deers, and the Penguins all show up, and they all have their own little section within Glacial, providing music. The Shiver Slide Penguins have like a small little half pipe and a track that some of the kids are trying and failing on. Polar bears.
They need to learn from the master.
You go and you show them how it's done, and you do all of these tricks, and they're all cheering you on again. Your mother pulls you aside and she says, I've had a bit of an idea and I want you to make the decision on what to do. I've decided that the Festival of Joy will take place in different villages every year, but I'm not quite sure which village to choose next. So, your final choice, the sixth choice, between you can decide on which village is hosting the next Festival of Joy.
I think it would be very poetic if we did penguins first, polar bears second, deer, and then back to us.
The same order
Yeah.
that we went in on our journey
Yeah.
to commemorate our journey.
Exactly. I think that would be
Yeah.
the cutest thing ever. So, the penguins.
Yeah, Shiver Slide.
Shiver Slide.
Okay, so I'll give you the prompt for this one first.
Okay.
The sixth and final prompt is a graphic novel.
Ooh. Because it's Christmas, and I think this is a really cute little graphic novel, I'm going to go for The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. I have no idea what this is about other than... Oh. It was gifted to me by Catherine from my Patreon for my birthday. I have no actual idea what it's about other than what's obvious from the title and the obviously the front cover. But it's so cute and the art is adorable. And it's got like, it goes through different seasons, but it's so like pastel. And it's quite inverted, like there's no black lines in any of the drawings, it's all just colour. And I just think it looks really cute. And I think it'll be a really good time.
So your mother hands you a gift that has been wrapped up, and she says, hand this to whoever you see fit. So both of you walk over, you find Olelo,
Yo, bro.
Hey, dude.
you hand him the gift, and he unwraps it, and he sort of gleams with joy, and he's like, yeah, bro, this sounds awesome, dude. And he thanks you both. So next year, the Festival of Joy will be held at Shiverslide, and like you said, following on then will be at Ursacht, and then at Frosthoof, and then back at Glacial, and will repeat for years and years to come until the next peace offerings are needed. And that is the end of this little story.
Good job, sister. We've rewritten history.
We are truly pioneers of history now. We will go down in history as the people who saved the Festival of Joy. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So this is my TBR. These 5 books, you can barely see the top one, plus the audiobook of Night's Shadow. And I am highly likely to also be reading Where the Drowned Girls Go, which is the new Wayward Children book, which is coming out in January. Obviously I'm doing Be Sure-a-thon, so I probably will very obviously read that. It's going to be 180 pages, so it's not going to be too much of a stretch on top of these. These are quite thick, but I'm really excited. I think this has gone really well. I'm really this is so cute. Thank you. Thank you, G.
This has been a great way to start the day off as well. Like a nice Christmas story. We saved Christmas. I'm feeling really festive.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, Jade. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, thank you.
I have loved being here. If you want me in future Christmas specials, you shall.
Every year. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please do give this video a like. Leave me a little Christmas tree emoji or any kind of Christmas emoji that you'd like. A snowflake, a polar bear, whatever you want, a penguin, however you feel. If you were here but you didn't really have anything to say but wanted to let me know that you were here. And make sure that you subscribe to get all the future content from me in your inbox. All of my links are in the description, including my Patreon. If you don't know what goes on my Patreon, then this is what you're missing out on. But last night, Jordan decided to lock himself in the bathroom
We received, I don't even know if he had told you before, but we received
did,
that
yeah.
voice note. Okay, I thought, is this his way of telling Ro that he's locked in the bathroom?
Speaking of my Patreon, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone at my deity tier. So that is Becca, Meg, Rachel, Lisa, Lydia, Mercy, Sarah, Tori, Liv, Adinda, Celeste, Kay, Marloose, and Britt. Thank you guys so much for all of your support, and I'll see you in another video. Bye! Say bye, Jade.
Bye!